Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome. It is the finale. Welcome to the final round of the ARL GT3 trophy. Season 12 comes to an end tonight with 3 championships still yet to be decided. And it's now going to be this final race, as we say, 1 hour of racing to decide 3 different titles. My name is Adam Reed. I'll be alongside Ashley Denman in the comms box. Aidan Howard alongside me. The 14 corner circuit of Detroit is set to host the final race. Before we get into that, welcome in, Ashley. It's going to be a phenomenal race, I think.
Yeah, it certainly should be. This is going to shake things up. It's a brand new circuit here for iRacing. It's a street circuit, which I don't think we've seen all season long so far, if my memory holds true. This is going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. It's tight, it's compact, it's a concrete jungle out there pretty much on the circuit and around on the walls. I don't really have any other word to describe it than it's going to be super interesting.
It is indeed, and you can see here is the 14 corner circuit here in Belle Isle in Detroit. It is going to be one of those circuits that is so interesting. You may know it from the many years it hosted a round of the IndyCar Championship up until 2022, as well as the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Heading into the first 2 corners is going to be a sweeping right into a sweeping left. You could overtake here, but it's going to have to be very touch and go here. So some really tricky corners, and then the walls are ready to bite at you if you decide to go too far through that second corner. You run along at the back straight before then hard on your brakes, stand on your pedal before getting it rotated in towards turn number 3. A short acceleration over the bumps of the park circuit before switching it in toward the right-hander at turn number 4. You've got to just try and get the rhythm through a lot of these corners. You're going to be having dates with the barriers as well, but not too many, only flirtatious. Turn number 5 is a quick left-hander before you then head into another right-hander of turn number 6, heading through the part of the park before then you head your way onto the long back stretch. You're going to be so many difficult corners for our drivers to negotiate. Past the lake on the left hand side, and then you make your way all the way down towards turn number 7. So one of the trickiest sections of corners, this one. A little hard on the brakes, you're getting the car rotated through some of the corners. Then you've got to slow down as you go in towards turn number 8 right here, one of the sharpest corners on the circuit. Then you're going to be heading through turn number 9 and turn number 10 as you go past the fountain where a lot of winners of this race has jumped into. Well, who will be seeing that at the end of this one? Turn number 11, another really tight right-hander. Boy, then you happen to get the best exit you possibly can out, and then down this main straight in towards turn number 12 and 13. It is a double right-hander. Not entirely, you do have time to straighten up your wheel, but then again, you've got such little room to maneuver your big tin top GT3 car before then running through the flick of 14 and back onto the main straight. A couple of limiting overtaking opportunities, so our drivers are really going to have to get their elbows out in this one. And of course, as it being a former circuit, a new circuit to iRacing, there's not going to be much knowledge to this circuit here in Belle Isle. There is your circuit. Welcome to downtown Detroit. This is set to be a spectacular final race of the season.
Certainly should be. I think the interesting bit, of course, looking at the overall map view, it gives you the layout. What it doesn't quite give you the idea of is just how close those walls are. You mentioned it. If you are pushing a touch too hard through certain corners, it will sneak up on you real quick. And the other thing is how bumpy it is. Again, you mentioned the bumps sort of switching from concrete to tarmac. It is a very tricky circuit to really understand where the grip is and how that develops over a race distance. And there you go, already hitting the wall is Daniel Gruber.
Yeah, indeed, already showing the difficulties around this circuit. It's been a while since I've seen a race around here. Of course, you know, some of these races that have gone past have been very eventful. I think one of my key memories of Belle Isle, bearing in mind there's not been many of them, is that crash from Felix Rosenquist. Throttle sticks open down around about turn 6, goes head on into the barrier, and that was a very scary incident. But you can see how much these drivers are really pushing the limits. Pedro Botelho Moniz, the Ferrari driver, the Portuguese driver who just got off the back of his first podium in the amateur class. He took that at Suzuka last time around. What a result that's going to be for him, as he had a bit of a struggling season so far. But we now look with the BMW here of David Kinskis, who swaps from the Ferrari to the BMW with that free switch after the BOP changes. He is on for an absolute stormer of a lap.
And it's certainly looking neat and tidy through the final few kinks there of 12-13. Then the flat out corner, turn 14, pretty much a kink because you are not lifting off the throttle at all. Over the line, how much of an improvement is this? It's a decent lap. Whoa, an entire second shaved off there. He's got 1.5 over his next competitor in Botelho Moniz.
It is indeed, and we'll have to see if anyone else is out there improving. You just saw through those last maybe 3-4 corners how active Kinskis was on the steering wheel. He was chopping and changing and trying to really rotate the car through some of the corners. Now, of course, these GT2 cars are not a stranger to Belle Isle. Of course, they were part of the Inter-Westec Sports Car Championship. We did have that mix of hypercars and GT3. So, you know, they're no stranger, but, you know, it's not really the way that, you know, we would usually maybe do racing here in Europe. You know, we wouldn't just get a park, you know, shove a bit of asphalt on it and then, you know, put some GT3s around it. You know, that's not really how we do it. But the Americans are a different breed, I should say.
They certainly are. I think while we just got a brief moment here while we're waiting for the amateurs to just get their final laps in, why don't we have a quick look at the standings and where everything lies at the moment, because being that it is the season finale here now, Adam, I think it should be a pretty decent idea to have a quick look at where everything is set up to be. I'm assuming we're going to start off with the pros, if we can get that one up. Here we go then. Remy
Yes.
Crozati has actually won out the championship here as well. So he takes top honours there in the pro category. Tom Kunaf is third and Denis Baraktarovic is... Tom Kunaf second, Baraktarovic is third. And it does get pretty tight at the top there still. That third place is still very much in the balance between Baraktarovic, Miller and Fellman. I think Nguia maybe just a touch too far back. But pretty competitive up and down the order. Why don't we swing on over to the Pro-Ams as well? As we saw Alex Rogers win this one out last time as well. Massive point swing there, and he is currently leading the overall championship. Marcus Fox is second with Patrick Schmidt third. That is also something that could potentially be swung and changed though, because Simone Silvestri on 506 still within a fighting chance. And then looking over at the amateurs, this one is still very much up for grabs. David Kinskus is going to be top with 505 and Daniel Gruber 55 back. That is something still open here and to be decided tonight. However, I think Kinskus, all he really needs to do here is just make it to the finish line and pick up some points, and he should be able to win out on the day. And there is Celentano in third as well, a little bit further back, but still within this fight, but it's a little bit spread out in the amateur class.
Yeah, it is. We won't go through the teams, but there are still only 3 teams involved in that one. So let's head back to live action to see what our results are looking to be. David Kinskus there on top, followed by Havdal. And then we've got Daniel Gruber in the P3 spot so far. He's on for a really, really good result. Then we find Francesco Celentano. P4 for the man in the Mercedes, going a little bit faster. He is just going to be just over 2/10 of, under 2/10 of a second to Pedro Botello Moniz. Of course, the man who is flying high after his podium in Suzuka. I'm sure he's going to be absolutely living that up in the moment. But of course, Belle Isle completely different to what we had over in Asia.
Yeah, it's so different. I mean, we've not seen anything like it all season. I've already mentioned that's the only street circuit we've gone to. But yeah, it's going to be a real challenge for everyone out there, as here come the Pro-Ams now making their way all onto the circuit. And I'm not actually too sure. I haven't seen it yet how tight the pit exit or entry is. That is something I'm a bit unfamiliar with, but we've already seen a reset there from one of the drivers. But it seems pretty open, so I can't imagine it'll be too much of a factor in this race.
No, I think it will be a slow pit entry as well. So that's something that you can kind of take into consideration. So we'll have to see if that also comes into fruition. So a couple of drivers just completing up their laps. That could have been a little bit close there between one of the McLarens and David Kinskus. I believe that was Russ Fowler, of course, who was involved in that one. So he was very, very lucky not to be in the way entirely of Kinskus. But we now see the amateurs out there at this moment in time. What can they do on these laps?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Again, it's a new circuit to all the drivers out there, so whoever's put the most amount of practice in or has been able to is probably going to be the one you see rising to the top. But it's an open playing field. It really does level it in that sense. It's like the rain almost, isn't it? But when a new circuit comes to town, it's exciting not only to drive it but to be a spectator of it, because you have no idea who is going to be quick. You get a good idea of who should be there or thereabouts, but it is an open book.
It is indeed. So let's have a look on board with the lap here with Pedro Botello Moniz, the Ferrari driver, pushing on forward. You see that big bump there over the course of the exit of turn number 2. He headed toward 3. This is what I mean. Stand on the brakes through the right-hander. Alex Rogers turns in towards the right-hand side, past all the Cadillac signs. Unfortunately, no Cadillacs in the GT3 class, but hopefully maybe one day. Through the right-hander, underneath the Firestone sign, bring it back to the right-hand side. Going to get rotated. Avoid those curves on the left. Look how bumpy it is through these sections. Look how undulating. You don't really get to see this when in the broadcast cameras. You just have to really, kind of have a look and see what you can just about find. But when you get driver's view, you really get a great idea. Banging off the rev limiter in 4th gear as you get the car rotated. You do a little bit of curve or bring it back to the right-hand side. It's such a maze through this section before you go then past the fountain. Squirt of acceleration before passing your way through such a difficult section of corners, having to slow right down to first gear, and then you get off the exit, a little bit of a bump as well. You've seen actually someone spun going off into the right-hander. That's, you know, what this corner does to you. There's a little bit of a bump. You've got to be careful of all of them. Really feathering the throttle is Alex Rogers. He now heads over towards the line. Of course, it will look to be a decent run for now, so don't expect absolute wonders. But yeah, over the line is looking to be a 1:29.3. So puts him above Ross Fowler, but expect that to improve. The track conditions will indeed improve in the sense of, you know, rubber being layered down and the cars are being more in favour towards the GT3 drivers.
It's interesting though, because I'm looking at the track temp, 39 degrees, so it is scorching out there. I think it has dropped a degree or two though since the amateurs have set their laps, so it favours then the pro-ams at the moment that the temperature is going down, because that will increase the grip available to them. But yeah, first run's out the way, and now the tyres slowly getting into their working range, so they'll be able to push faster still. But I've said it already here, Adam, just how tight it is between the two concrete barriers. You really want to, of course, push the limits, but you're teetering on the edge of colliding with that concrete wall, and that's going to spell disaster.
Indeed, it's a real struggle to do that. It's a real skill to be able to get a car around here, and especially with drivers still trying to get used to the circuit. You know, maybe some have spent a couple of hours on, you know, some may have just spent, maybe done 10 laps at maximum. We have no idea what they've done prior to this, apart from maybe one long practice session to get their eye in. So you now see Alex Rogers popping himself up to second. So David Kinskus already showing his speed here, but I think Alex Rogers definitely had another half a second, maybe even 0.6 of a second in his back pocket, which could be, you know, a big sign for us as well. So there goes Patrick Schmidt up into second. Maciej Gorecki in the Ford Mustang could be in for a really good run here. So we'll have to see what these drivers can do. Alex Rogers does go purple in one of the sectors. So the Muradness squad driver who got recently picked up in the middle of the season. Oh, it's hit the wall, and that's going to be, well, could be detrimental. Shouldn't damage his progress too much, but of course Rogers was not in an ideal situation in that moment.
Not ideal, but I mean, he just set the purple second sector. That's already been beaten by Patrick Schmidt, though. But I mean, he's had another green sector there, so it's obviously not hindered him all that much, as he is still going faster. But he's just testing the waters. He's trying to find the limits out there. It's part of it, isn't it? I mean, you don't really want to be doing it in qualifying or the race, of course, but that's what practice is for. But even here, you've got that moment of, okay, I've pushed it too far, I'll just reset, come back, and we'll go again, because the race is, of course, where everything matters. But it seemed like a pretty decent lap there for Rogers over the line, but I think it may have been invalidated.
It might have been. So it looks like Marcus Fox has gone a little bit faster than in his Porsche. But already I'm starting to try and work out what is the best manufacturer, as Patrick Schmidt there goes to second place, but there isn't really a clear winner. You know, as this ARL GT3 Championship, we do love to really show off, you know, these drivers and, you know, show their skills off by making it as equal as possible. But we've got a BMW from a Mercedes, from a Porsche, from a Ferrari, which is super to know this. Alex Rogers still pushing on then. Gets another purple sector into his back pocket. This will feel the confidence. This will really fill his boots with that spring in his step to be able to go that little bit faster. He's really trying to work that car through, wiggling the tail out here. Then he's going to start lifting off, then hit the brakes, get the car rotated, so right down before slamming onto the throttle pedal, not spinning up the tyres too much, but then you're heading towards turn number 12. So tricky situation here. Really good lap here for the Englishman. He gets right up to the barriers, probably managed to get a phone number or a date or something for sure. But But now Rogers will go over the timing beam from 4. It's up to P1 then. 127.535. Exactly what I kind of predicted as he was just completing his first runs.
Oh, it's good. He's obviously on provisional pole, but I mean that just kind of I think highlights the impressive lap from Kinskus. Not to sort of overshadow Rogers' achievement, of course, but that seems to be like a pretty decent lap there from the amateur driver. Of course, I think he just needs to finish the event here tonight in the points, and he should take home that amateur trophy. But I mean, if he's mixing it in with the big dogs, I mean, why not? See what you can show the rest of the racing world and put your talents to good use.
Indeed. We'll have to see if there's any improvements around the circuit. Marcus Fox seems to be on a decent lap in his Porsche. It doesn't seem to be, massively outstanding. It's 2 green sectors so far. It's a couple of greens still in these latter stages of this Pro-Am qualifying. Oh, Grossman into the pits, Dennis Weinman into the pits, so is Andreas von der Belle. Well, of course, that one was obvious, but yeah, 2 of our amateurs still in the pit lane. They have posted laps, but Grossman 4 seconds off, so I don't know if he's maybe got some terminal damage to that car, or if he's, just not quite happy with the setup or something along those lines. But we might be wanting to side the back due to the chaos factor. But Marcus Fox pops himself up into P3, but still behind David Kinskus by a tenth and 200ths.
Yep, so right there in the mix. You asked the question earlier, Adam, about which car is going to be good around here. Well, I've taken a little look over at Instagram to the Apex Racing Academy so that we can get all that information. They currently, for GT3s, have Chevrolet at the very top as the best GT3 car around here, based off the laps and data that they've put in. Then Porsche, then Mercedes, Aston Martin, the Acura, surprisingly middle of the pack, BMW, Ferrari, Ford, Lamborghini, and bottom of the pile is McLaren. That's quite a different mix to some of the other circuits we've seen.
Yeah, it is. We've seen so many different kind of ranges of cars being really successful. Sometimes it's been the Ford Mustang, sometimes the Mercedes, and now we see our pros heading out onto the racing circuit. Here come the big guns. We'll see the likes of course, Remy Crozat. We'll see Tom Kunath heading out there. Hayden Miller, the Scotsman, in his Vulcan Motorsports Ferrari. So we'll have to see what these guys can do. And also, of course, all of the I think 2 of the Sim Racing, Core Sim Racing 1 team who are currently batting for a team's championship.
Absolutely, and they're of course battling for the team's championship. The overall championship is still in the balance between Alex Rogers and Remy Crozat. Only 24 points separate them. So qualifying is going to give us a good idea of who potentially has the upper hand going into the race setting. And the other thing to mention is a street circuit, of course. But that means qualifying is ever more important, because it's going to be a bit harder to send some moves and make some lunges, because the wall will come up at you rather quickly.
Well, I kind of said that during the during the opening of this. We had an onboard lap, we had that kind of brief look over the track, and again we can have a look here with the brand new driver of Aiden Young. Now Aiden is a rapid driver. He steered season 10 of the ARL GT3 Championship, so a returning driver. He finished 2nd in the pros, and over the course of 2 seasons, your speed will increase drastically, and for sure he could be a definite winner in this championship. So look out for him in the Corvette. He heads his way down in towards turn number 3, stamping on the brakes, gets the car rotated. I'm really excited to see what Aiden can do. 7 podiums, he took 2 wins as well. 2nd place in the pros. I think that's all you need to know from 2 seasons ago.
I tell you what, just have a quick listen, because I don't think we get enough of the Corvette and its engine, and it's sounding phenomenal. Let's hear it down the straight here, just revving up. And then into turn number 7. I mean, to me, that sounds fantastic. It's a car you don't see a lot of, and yeah, really does go to show how fantastic it is. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit blown away by it, but it's such an awesome car, really, and we don't see a lot of it.
No, we don't. I was lucky to see this car last year at the GT World Challenge Championship at Brands Hatch. Again, yes, it was running around the back, but it is still a really, really nice car to have in a field. I think it's really, really nice. We don't really get to hear a lot of the on-board for a lot of them. So, to hear this is absolutely fantastic. Aiden will go over the timing beam. Goes to 11th initially, so still has a little bit of time in his pockets. But remember, this is going to be a really, really big session for these pro guys. And I wonder how much practice have they done? How much training have they done around this circuit? Because I have a good feeling they've done probably a good 100 laps or so, surely.
It can't be many more than that. I mean, that would require a fair amount of time. I did notice on the exit there at turn 2, the wing mirror fell off the Corvette. It immediately jumped back on. But maybe that's something we're going to see here tonight. I mean, Adam, I'm going to throw you the question. How many wing mirrors do you think are falling off tonight? Well, not sure. I'll have a guess first, then, if you like. I'm going to say about 10 or so, but it's just because they get so close to the wall. I mean, that is Schmidt there, just not quite pushing it to the absolute limit edge, but getting as close as he dares, as we see the return of Leon Mishka in his Mercedes as well, finding his way through the 8 to 11 corner complex, as Aiden Young ever going faster and pushing purple sectors out there as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I reckon about maybe 3 or 4, but, if you're saying 10, then you may know the circuit a little bit better than me. I have no idea.
I'm just a guess.
Yeah, we could talk about, as
there it goes.
Where it's falling off. Oh, that could have been a little bit sketchy. But yeah, there's going to be plenty of, wall glancing throughout this session. I can guarantee it.
It'd be no doubt at all. Young over the line, he goes third fastest. He's only 2.5 tenths off of Alex Rogers. I think Rogers is going to feel a bit more pressure here tonight with Aiden Young out there as well. Of course, Crozat, he's currently running 6th position. But the top there, right at the sharp end of things, there's not much separating each driver. And still, the amateur of Kinskus is second. That is a super impressive lap when you've now got the pros getting in the mix, and they still haven't quite toppled him yet.
Yeah, indeed. I'm really impressed, with what he's done so far. Still a lot of opportunities for some of these drivers. Just having a look around, especially on our time screens, Aiden Young still up at the top there. Remy Crozat could definitely do something. He's been lacking, I wouldn't say lacking entirely, but, when you get a 9th place due to a penalty at Suzuka, you do feel a little bit of pressure on your shoulders. Mishka there down in 25th, Camden Craft 27th. So I expect those latter two improve. They will do so. Aiden Young to 2nd, Remy Crozat to 3rd, as you say there. Now you're kind of having a look a little bit more around. Leon Mishka goes to 6th, Feldman goes to 8th. Strong stuff for a lot of these drivers. So at the moment, Alex Rogers, I'm not confident that will be pole position.
It's looking a bit tentative, isn't it? I mean, the track temp has also dropped a touch further, another degree or so. Again, that swings into the favour of the pro drivers, a bit more grip coming to them, especially once they get their tyres all within working temperature, which they should do now, the majority of them. Aiden Young, 2 green sectors, the same with Crozat, so still the pair of them going fast out there, and Young now putting in a purple as well.
So we continue on with this session because there's still a lot to talk about here. Aiden Young going purple in the middle sector. Leon Mishka showing signs of speed. What about Camden Craft in his car? That 104 not performing at its very best. Some of our pros maybe slightly lacking a little bit. Maybe not having the time to go around this circuit and intake what the challenges could potentially be. But Aiden Young is on an absolute flyer of a lap here. This could be very much a huge lap. Is it going to be pole? It is provisional pole. And of course, Alex Rogers cannot do anything. He is sitting in the pits just waiting for that time to hit 0.
Mishka has just now snatched that away by 1/100th of a second. Look how close it is there at the top. Crozat, of course, just went to 3rd as well. So Rogers now sitting 4th. Doesn't have an answer because he can't. And this is now getting incredibly exciting. Pierre Verns also set a really good lap time there. He's in 5th.
Indeed, we'll have to see how he all turns out. Again, still a lot of times to be inputted into this final part of this qualifying session. You just see there one of the 4 Mustangs being hounded by the Aston Martin. They'll make their way onto towards the back straight here. Pierre Verne staying with the Aston Martin for the entirety of this championship as well. Brave thing to be doing. One of the 4 Mustangs. So that's either Derek Heierberg. I think it is Derek Heierberg in front of him, who's just managed to gain a little bit of time. So the 4 Mustangs working well, but it is Mercedes from Corvette, from Porsche from Ferrari, from Aston Martin, BMW. That is 6 different manufacturers in the top 6. Unreal.
Yeah, fantastic, isn't it? I mean, what more do you want? Just goes to show that the manufacturers do not mean that you've got the best car underneath you. It, of course, still comes down to the driver, as Young has now retaken provisional pole away from Leon Mishka, and on his return, he is looking mighty fast out there in his Mercedes. Has he got a response now in this closing moments of qualifying?
Great question, and I'm sure he will try and push something forward, because he does need to have that little bit of an extra sharpness to his driving. So it looks like Remy Crozat now going purple in the first sector. Aiden Young keeping consistent with personal bests. So we now take on board here with Remy Crozat, the 108 Porsche, the red and black striking livery, which shows very, what's the best word to use? Incognito, it feels like. We're just like, it's still ready to strike at any point. Glazing the barrier, you just see the puff of smoke coming off the side there. He is really dancing with the devil through these next sequences corners. Oh, but I think he got a little bit too wide. He's more set up for the exit of that left-hander instead of preparing for the right. Aiden Young goes purple in the latter sector.
Yep, he's going to be coming up to the line just a short moment. Is this going to be quicker still? He's had the yellow in there as well. He has set, I think it was a touch faster, wasn't it? Yes, ever so slightly. Crozat go to the line, goes second fastest now, so he'll be on that front row, keeping Young company at the moment. They've still probably got just enough time out there, if they're starting it now, to finish that lap as well. So keep an eye, because it's not done and over with yet. Rizzo up to 7th.
A big lap there from Gabriele Rizzo, the driver who took the class pole position for himself at Suzuka. So that was a big lap there from Gabriele Rizzo. I think he'll come off this very, very strong. There's still a little bit of time left on the board. We ride on board with what seems to be one of our 4 Mustangs that is going to go over the line. That's going to be Carl Winkler. Goes from 16th, doesn't improve, it seems. Oh, in fact, he does go 15th, so will be staying, however, on that 8th row of the grid.
Crozat's going pretty quick out there. He set some good times in the middle sectors for himself, but that is him backing out of it, so obviously wasn't good enough and just jumps out of the way. I believe that was Leon Mishka going through. Aiden Young not setting any faster times, and I just think it's now up to Mishka. Has he got anything left in this final sector? Can he topple Aiden Young off that top spot?
It's a great question, and only time will tell with these things. There's still a lot of considerations here. Into the pits now comes one of the Mercedes of Leon Mishka. So Aiden Young will look to be at the top here with a 1:27.2. Timer hits 0, and not Leon Mishka, it's going to be Aiden Young returning from season 10. He is going to be on pole position. What a lap.
Yeah, brilliant lap there, and in the Corvette, no less. Of course, the Apex Racing Academy predicted that was going to be a decent car, and at the hands of the American, it certainly was.
Indeed, it was. So we're now just going to go into a little bit of a warm-up for our drivers, just for any final tweaks that these drivers can do. They'll be really looking to see if they can just about make any changes, sort out some of their driving, but they don't get long left on this one. But for the driver that may have struggled around, this would be the perfect time to just kind of tighten up anything they possibly can around this really, really incredible circuit.
Absolutely. And remember, if anybody watching wants to get involved with this kind of racing as well, do head on over to the Apex Racing League if you want to join in and race some of these fantastic series. They've got the Porsche Cup starting on the 23rd of June, and they also have the Endurance returning over the summer, which is going to be an action-packed league as well. And they have got some really good circuits lined up for that as well. So do head on over to apexracingleague.com to register, or you can always jump down into the Discord link in the description.
Can indeed do that too. So it'll be hugely interesting. Again, I'm really looking forward to seeing what those Porsche drivers are going to be doing. We've got ARL endurance series, which are doing multiple endurance races all throughout. So again, just keep an eye on what is going on with Apex Racing TV, because we have got a lot going on all throughout the year, and so many events to keep an eye out for. So yeah, head on over to Apex Racing TV for absolutely everything there. You can also have a look at us on social media to keep an eye out there. We will be posting announcements, we will be posting galleries as well, if you're just there for the epic car pictures.
Why not go for the Holy Trinity with the Academy as well? If you want to get faster, whether it be GT3 cars or anything else, they have over 40 other cars on iRacing to help you with track guides, setups and data packs from some of the best drivers on the platform. So head over to apexracingac.com to get started there as well.
Indeed. We'll try and get you a qualifying grid when we can, because of course we definitely will be looking forward to this grid. It's very mixed up throughout this one, so I'll be really interested to see who is in a really good place, who is in a really good spot, who has that opportunity, because we know that Alex Rogers has been really strong, but those three pros have been at each other those last 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is going to be a real exciting one, because we've not seen racing here before. I mean, maybe a couple of you have, but I certainly haven't. I have no idea what to expect. I'm excited. I can't really quite contain it. It's sort of peeking out the ceiling, but it's going to be brilliant.
It will absolutely be fantastic. I'm really excited to see what these are going to do. So we don't have much information on it, but again, we'll have to look out for this. Aiden Young, his return ends him up on pole position. It's going to be Remy Crozat alongside him. 3 podiums in the last 4 races. What can he do from second? Then we find Leon Mishka, who will be in P3. Alongside him will be Pierre Verne, the Aston Martin driver for the VPS Racing esports team. Then we find Alex Rogers in the overall leader and the Pro-Am champion with 4 wins, with 4 poles in a row, but that ended today. And then we find David Kinskas in the Ferrari, in the BMW. What can he do from P6? Gabriel Rizzo is going to be alongside Marcus Fox, the second place in the Pro-Ams. Then we find Axel Filloy in the ACA esports team, the Andorran in P9. He's going to be joined alongside Hayden Miller. Then we find Derek Heiberger, P11 for him. Again, 90 points in the last 3 events and a top 9 as well. Really strong stuff from him. Then we find Patrick Schmidt down there in P12. What can he do from the 6th row of the grid? Fabian Feldman will be in P13. The Swiss driver will be alongside Tom Kunath with Carl Winkler and Simone Silvestri. Gabriel Schmidt followed by Camden Kraas, and then Dominic Engel and Kanzine Havdal Daniel Gruber will be in P21, second in the Pro-Ams, with Marcus Blum, Helmut Sekera, and Denis Barak-Tadovic. We look further down where we find Mateusz Gorecki, followed by Francesco Celentano, Martino Pugnoli, and Pedro Botello Moniz. He'll be running high on his podium from last time out at Suzuka. Then we find Jason Hodgson, the American, alongside Andreas Vontabell with Ross Fowler and Dennis Weinman. He'll be alongside Ronald Grossman and Davide Vitoriti. Then his fellow Italian of Alessio Tuoso and Nino Angel in 36th. And then we will round off here we go then. We have got 36 cars on the grid and we set for the final round. We go green in Belle Isle as Aiden Young will lead the field down into towards turn number 1. Krozak will try and look for a gap here. Mishka will just back in behind. No opportunity to overtake on the first one. Well, there is. You just got to be very, very careful about it. Look at the amount of GT3 cars just flooding out of turn 1 and 2, but they'll stay in line of CERN as they head in towards 3.
Kinskus got up to 4th spot on that opening down that straightaway pretty much. He's jumped Rogers and Rizzo doing so. What a fantastic start there for the amateur driver, but that does leave Rogers with some work to do. He really wants to be finishing pretty much behind Crozat, or if he can get in front, fantastic stuff as well. But Aiden Young already pulling out a little bit of an advantage here. We're losing a touch down the straight, but that's just due to the slipstream effect as they wind into the corner. The flick there into 7. That reminds you of Sochi in Russia, but what a brilliant corner it is.
Yeah, really, really strong stuff there from Aiden Young, managing to get off the line. That's exactly what he needed to do. Remy Crozat will look to now just try and see if he can work his way through some of these little sections. But then again, you've also got Mishka in behind. You've got Kinskas as well, who's managed to overtake Alex Rogers. So the BMW up into 4th. Could David Kinskas be on for a big result here, resulting in an overall podium? It'll be a tough ask, but it can be done. He's had a best finish of 4th already back at Brands Hatch. Can he recreate it though?
It's going to be a big question that could be answered, but something has happened to Axel Veloy. We're going to get a replay here. He's lost 8 positions. Is he just being caught offline and therefore just having to go wide and the rest of the field come through? Let's see though. This is turn 11. Ooh, that's a big hit into the barrier there. Too much speed. Couldn't get it scrubbed off quick enough.
No, he couldn't. That's going to be a bit of a difficult one. Pierre Verne has been involved in an incident. We're just having a look at downtown Detroit, it seems like. So we'll have to see if we can either get that or we'll go back to live pictures here, because with Aiden Young, who still leads up at the front of the field there, Crozat will still try and chase it behind, but when you grow a gap of 1.2 seconds, that's going to be a bit of a difficult one because you're already now at arm's length. You're seeing some of the intervals between each different cars. This is going to be a big one, I think, in terms of strategy as well, because fuel will be a play. You can definitely save fuel around this circuit. It's just about how effective you are. Kinskas has been now overtaken by Alex Rogers, so that's going to be a bit of an important move in proceedings.
Looking at it, I think he kind of let him go and probably just wants to do the thing you just mentioned there of saving the fuel. He knows Rogers has probably got a bit more speed, doesn't want to lose touch with the guys in front, being Crozat and Mishka, and so probably the smart play at this present moment, because of course we do have the pit stop that is mandatory at some point throughout this race. So if you can save a bit of fuel and go longer and deeper, that could be a benefit for you. Yeah, look, we're just probably going to see Kinskas pull off to the side and then easily let Rogers through. Nicely done.
Indeed. So we'll have to see if Kinskas can maybe find a way back through on the Ferrari. What is Alex Rogers doing in terms of pace? Because he doesn't seem to be at the same pace he's had on the circuits that are made for racing. This is a street circuit. It's completely different to what any of these guys drive normally. We're used to kind of small-ish pieces of road, but street circuits are definitely so much different. You have no runoff whatsoever. You are just concrete barrier away from being out of this race. So a lot of our drivers having to be pretty careful in this case.
This is going to be the move for, I believe it's 7th place. Hayden Miller in his Ferrari. And that is him looking to get past Marcus Fox in his Porsche. Nice little move there down the inside. That's the sort of overtaking you expect to see here. That was through turn number 6 and onto the back straight. Almost looks a little bit like a block pass, but nice move nonetheless from the Scotsman.
Definitely. Really good stuff there from Hayden Miller. Alex Rogers now with the fastest lap. 127.7. Is that... how good is that compared to the top time? Well, it's definitely faster than Leon Mishka. Maybe not as quite arm's length as Young and Crozat. He's going to have to really work away on what is essentially a race-long mission to try and get to the front of the field. But this is going to change leaps and bounds over time.
Yes, it certainly will. As we're looking here at the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th in the amateur class. This is between Botello, Moniz, Gruber and Celentano then, as they now file their way through 6th down the 7th. This is a move for Patrick Schmidt. Can he get past Tom Kunaf? Kunaf is going to have that inside line though. Or is he? Oh, it's hard to see. It's Mercedes versus Mercedes. Who's going to come out on top? Schmidt has found the way through by the looks of things. Kunaf still there in 10th position for the time being, but looking incredibly racy. I think Schmidt might actually be holding him up a touch here. Over the line they go then to start their 5th lap through the sweeping chicane of turn 1 and 2 over the rise and bump as they make their way onto the longest straight of this circuit up to turn 3. Good overtaking opportunity. Will we see Kunaf pull out of the slipstream? No, we won't. Still just waiting. As we're getting another replay of what happened here a bit earlier on. We caught the tail end of it, but this is what was happening before then. Tom Kunaf trying to have a look on Schmidt there into turn number 7 now. You would have thought had the right line because he had the momentum to stick it there. Has now the inside line for 8. I would have thought move done, but apparently not, because Schmidt really didn't want to give this one up. Fought his way through 9, 10 and then had the advantage for 11, so just hanged on thereabouts. Really good racing between the pair of those guys.
Really strong stuff. We now have a look here at Alex Rogers, who again got past David Kinskas. There you can see the BMW then moving aside for the Ferrari driver. So that was, not the best way to make an overtake, but it was technically an overtake nonetheless.
Certainly was. I think we did see it earlier, but it was sometimes good to remind yourselves how things came to be with where we are in the race as it stands. But Rogers has closed the gap up to Mishka here, so he is half a second behind the Mercedes. And so the German is now going to have a little bit of pressure piled on his shoulders. He's still maintaining that gap fairly decently to Crozat and Aidan Young out front, but it is sort of just swinging up and down a little bit.
Indeed. These drivers are really going to have to build up in terms of, again, the dangers of the circuit are, huge. You're still having to really thread a needle every single time. I think bringing a street circuit to the ARL GT3 calendar very much really takes a bit of getting used to. Oh, off goes the windward. That's going to be Leon Mishka. And he can't take the escape route. And that's a big moment there for the German. He's gone straight on. He's not reversing. Can he find reverse? Could have been an equipment failure potentially for Leon Mishka. Well, I'm not too sure, but for one thing is for certain, Leon Mishka will not be finishing this race. He's out.
He's back? He's out? We don't know. Well, let's have a look. We're right on board with him. Sorry, go on.
Leon Mishka down in towards the hairpin. Oh.
That is odd.
I think he's lost downshift. Look, he's still in 4th.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, terrible. Terrible news. Back to pit lane as well. Yeah, I think you're right there, Adam. I think that is an equipment failure, but not of the... Well, it is part of the steering wheel, but not the actual steering itself. But if you're not able to downshift, then you really are going to struggle for speed. But especially through that sort of mid-part, turns 8 to 11, I think you're pretty much in first gear throughout the entirety of that sector. So if you can't get that, then yeah, you're just going to lose so much time out there.
Yeah, he's had a massive issue in that case. There's not really anything we can do. Oh, big moment there for Crozat in the background. Tail swinging out left and right. That could have been all sorts of Larry, well, it was all sorts of Larry. But it does bring Rogers up to third. David Kinska's back up to fourth. So this is a big moment for those guys in the race. It brings Alex Rogers to once again within an opportunity of taking a podium here. He is 24 points ahead of Remy Crozat in the overall standings. We have Tom Kunath down in 9th. He is not one to be throwing his hat into the ring. This will see him out of the championship contention. Pedro Botello Moniz in 21st. He is currently 3rd in the amateurs. And for the Rennsport BCM Portuguese driver, this is going to be a massive, massive moment. But he's got Daniel Gruber behind him.
Yeah, I think looking at that amateur championship, I mean, Kinskas is 4th. If he hangs on to it, his next car in class that he would be fighting would be Hovdal in 18th. I mean, what a gap between those two guys. That is insane. But yeah, he just has to finish, I think, and sews that one up. But the fight here between 3rd, 4th and 5th, Moniz, Gruber and Celentano, still raging on, and nobody can seem to find that little bit of an advantage to make a move. As that is Gruber hitting the barrier, though, through the apex of 6. That's going to allow Celentano down the inside. Gruber's going to have lost momentum. Can he fight it back into 7, though? That's going to be the crucial moment here. Now through the kink into 7, but no, Celentano sweeps over in front. Position gain there for the Italian.
Really, really good stuff there. They're still side by side before they head in towards the fountain. The ACA esports driver of Helder Siqueira trying to fight it around the outside of Matus Gorecki. So he's starting to have a little bit of his own ding-dong in the background, and also the Mercedes of Andreas von der Belle in the amateurs are trying to get involved here. But around the outside, we'll go to the race with BCM Ford Mustang. Surely he can't hang on. No, he decides to think better of it and back up. But look, they've already lost 0.6 of a second. And look at this, a big move there from Helder Siqueira going on the defensive. He has to go. Gorecki holding on as the Polish driver. He'll in-swing his way through the right, through the left-hander. But unfortunately for Gorecki, just has to back up once again. But Helder Siqueira close to the wall. Will the Ford Mustang manage to find a way down towards number 3? Should be a little bit extra there on the straight of the Ford Mustang, but no, it is German winning out this time around.
I mean, this is definitely not over by a long shot. Through turn number 4, and Gorecki still looking, just about got on the brakes enough to avoid Siqueira's Porsche there, in through the kink of 5. Now 6 once again. We've already made the lap, and they are still going at it, hell the lever.
Fantastic stuff. Is exactly what we've been looking for, and then what we've been guessing all season long. It has been a fantastic, fantastic race as well so far, but it's still building up, I think, to its grand crescendo that is still left. 0.8 of a second before between P1 and 2. This was back with Fabian Feldman. They're in the outside Mercedes. Oh, sorry, the inside Mercedes, my apologies. They're going on the attack for another Mercedes. Still battling side by side, so it's German versus German power. Oh, gets a little bit of a shove there on the right-hand side. He's not happy about that with the flashes. And then just has to sit back there in the Dark Horse Motorsport car, which, again, Dark Horse Motorsport, really doing well. Still challenging, in a sense, the team's standings, which is a big, big moment for them. But will they get it before the end? Probably not. It is down to ERE and Core Sim Racing 1.
Absolutely is. I can confirm Leon Mishka did have equipment problems. He's put it in the chat. He has no words. That's fair enough, to be honest. It was an odd one, this. You don't see this very often, if at all, I would say. His wheel decided to update mid-race. So hence why he couldn't get any inputs put into the wheel. But I mean, turned it left and right, but none of the buttons were deciding to work.
Oh my goodness me. How unlucky can you get? Leon Mishka, of course, has not had the best seasons, especially as his label being a Season 9 champion. You know, that's not the way you want to be going about it either. So problems in that case. So Kunath Fox and Carl Winkler in this case. Kunath P9, Carl Winkler P14, and Marcus Fox is up in P7. This could be big moments in this hunt for the title race. I haven't seen either, unless I've been mistaken or I'm blind as a bat this entire race. I haven't seen Fabien Noguia, the Frenchman, who is currently in that ERE team, has not attended the last 2 races in this case. That could be a big problem for the ERE team, because they're now having to settle down on Remy Crozat getting the points for them. And also, you've got to take into consideration, half a second behind.
This is the battle here for P13. Ronald Grossman and Alicio Tuosto, I believe, going to be down into turn number 3. Grossman to the inside in his Acura. Nice, easy move there. Textbook, you would argue. Late on the brakes, down the inside. Jobs a good un. And he'll go forward and try and chase down the next car of Dennis Windman.
Yeah, Dennis Windman is very good so far. The Dutchman has a bit of a relatively strong end to the season so far. His best finish being 26 in race 2. That's going to be Marcus Blum in the Core Sim Racing 3 team. So if there's one car they wanted to, well, one part of the team they wanted to retire, they definitely didn't want Core Sim Racing 1 because of this team title battle. Let's have a look, see what happened. Marcus Blum. Oh, it was a big hit on the curb. And then that unsettled the car. He smacked the outside wall. That completely tore away at the suspension. And the car was just pretty much parked there, standing still.
That was a real big hit. I've just gone back to watch the stream myself just to get another view of it. Yeah, completely lost it into the barrier. Yeah, jobs are good in there. And out, unfortunately. Carl Winkler, though, here. P13, unlucky for some. But for him at the moment, he's got a little bit of a train forming up behind him. Schmidt, Kraft and Axel Filloy, who we saw having a moment earlier on. He's still missing that front bumper, I believe, from the incident.
He is. He is still missing that. That front bumper is Axel Filloy, the Mercedes driver. Oh, having a big old slide out of that last corner we just saw on the feet. So he's struggling for could potentially be rear tyre grip as well. That would be something to take into consideration field here, because Aiden Young is being put under pressure here from Remy Crozat. Carl Winkler still there in 13, but this is the battle for the lead then. So unless Young has overdone his tyres in the WSR Esports Corvette, and we'll have to see if Remy Crozat can maybe take advantage of that. Down in towards turn number 6 in the Corvette. It's just trying to work away here, but a little bit of a wiggle there from the rear of Crozat. Still half a second is the gap, but could any batting here allow Alex Rogers to just close up? He still maintains the fastest lap of the race, but Aiden Young was 0.4 of a second off last time around.
Well, that's the thing. If Aiden Young has still got that pace, I think he might have just had a blip that last lap, then Crozat would probably think it's probably best not to go at it and try and make the move unless it is a real obvious chance, just to try and keep that little bit of a buffer between himself and Rogers, because if he can stay ahead and maybe pick up another spot later on and hope the opposite kind of happens to Rogers, there's still a chance for him in this championship. But as it stands, at the end of the day, if it finished like this, Rogers would be the overall champion.
For would be a massive shock to all of our pros. And I'm sure that Alex Rogers, who of course has got in with a positive mindset every single time, he says, I just want to have fun, I just want to race. And every single time he gets told, you know, if you take this sim racing thing seriously, you are going to be a damn good driver. That's exactly what he is showing. Was taking another fastest lap there, 127.315. Another 3 to 4 tenths of a second faster than those two guys in front. So he is closing, but he just needs to keep that pace consistent.
Certainly does. And do you know what I'm quite impressed with at the moment, Adam, is the I'm going to say lack of incidents. Not that that's a bad thing, because we all come here to watch racing action, but I really thought with the nature of this circuit, how closed the wall, you know, how closed off it is, how close the walls are to you, I thought we may have seen a few more taps and knocks, but so far we've been pretty clean on the straight and narrow, which is really good to see. This is Schmidt here, Gabriel Schmidt, having a little look, trying to get a move on his fellow German of Karl Winkler into turn number 7, and probably going to have to follow his way through here through 8, 9, 10, 11. But chances coming up, and Schmidt looking very quick.
So very much still a lot can happen in this race. We have hit the 20-minute mark, still allowing 40 minutes to go left of this race. Will the drivers be fatigued at this point? Probably not. Depends how hard they've been pushing and kind of how relaxed they are, because you know you can really take a lot of energy out of yourself within 20 minutes if you push the whole time. But you know, for the drivers that may be able to be a little bit more relaxed, well, I think that does allow them to be able to really advantage themselves. That is, I think, one of the Corvettes here. That Ronald Grossman, potentially. Yeah, not... so it's another back marker just getting out the way, one of our Pro-Ams, but again, Simone Silvestri still pushing on here, trying to defend here from Fabian Feldman. And the Swiss driver continuing to try and just work on forward for the Dark Horse Motorsport sim racing team.
Absolutely. He's been doing some stellar defending for the last few laps now from Feldman. And yeah, it looks like he's going to have to keep that up a fair bit more, because he certainly is not disappearing. As I've been told in my ear, Camden Craft has lost a position, I believe. This is Karl Winkler here running ball. Camden Craft going in front. That's deep into turn 1, over the grass there of turn number 2. Safely rejoins, thankfully, but that is 2 positions lost through what seemed to be a fairly simple mistake, but nonetheless it was made, and Camden Craft was lost out.
Yeah, that's not ideal for Camden Craft. He's allowed Karl Winkler to also go on through, which is adds another couple of points there to the tally of course Sim Racing 1. It might have to be my job in a minute to try and do a little bit of adding up, because this could be a big moment in this title race here, because there's a lot of points up for offer in this championship, especially when you have 3 cars out there in the field, you know, and especially when your opposition have 1. It is a very, very, you know, you have to think about it. You have to think about how this team could potentially win a championship, the team's championship instead. But you know, will Crozat be thinking about it? I'm not too sure. But speaking of Crozat, in the favour of Alex Rogers.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to tell, and only time can tell us it, because yeah, we've got to wait to see who reaches that checkered flag first and foremost, because we've said it already. This is a tough circuit. You kind of want to be driving within your limits in a way, because otherwise that could be a big tap of the wall there for Crozat, and that is exactly what I'm talking about. If you really do push it just a touch too much, you can come into contact, as he's slowing it ever so slightly now into turn 3, and Rogers has closed the gap. Less than half a second between the pair of them now. Is that too much damage on the Porsche?
That's a big question. We'll have to see if that is potentially race ending or race damaging if to be better off than that one. We'll ride on board here with Remy Crozat, and we'll just see if there's anything, you know, a little bit out of the ordinary. He heads his way now in toward the tricky right-hander, this tricky section that really can catch you out. Just trying to see if he can just work his way through, but it does seem to be nothing massively problematic in this case. It's just down to Rogers having to find a little bit of a gap, a little bit of an opening, and passing that German manufacturer.
It looked like a hefty whack though through the exit of 2. I'm really surprised not more has been done. But yeah, seems to be managing it okay, not coming in for an early pit stop or anything like that to try and sort it. So clearly feels like there is nothing wrong. As there is a Mercedes there on the exit of 2. Luckily slows down just to stay out of the way of this battle, but the gap between Rogers and Crozat is next to nothing. Are we going to see a move in the few coming corners? That's going to be the big question.
We might do. So we'll have to see if Remy Crozat can put up his defense arts here. It comes Axel Filloy. So the front bumper might actually get repaired here on the ACA Esports team's car. Will we see a replacement for the Mercedes front bumper? We'll wait for it, and there it is. That gets changed over. So, leader of the drivers who have made a pit stop here, Ronald Grossman, 24th for him. To expect him to shoot up the standings. Biggest gainer so far as well, Pedro Botello Moniz, from 28th to 18th. Still sits in 3rd place for the Raceforge XBCM team. That Ford Mustang still running very, very strong. And we've got Simone Silvestri still having to play the defensive role against Fabian Feldman in the Dark Horse Motorsport car. That Swiss driver is all over the back now of his fellow Mercedes driver. Of course, there may be fellow Mercedes drivers, but they're, you know, completely opposite classes and completely opposite teams.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. As Celentano in the amateur class, he's had a moment dropping down the order. He was in that battle between Botello Moniz and Gruber for a long time. What has happened here to the Italian? This is on the run down to turn number 7 through the little kink before you get into the hard braking zone. Has he missed his mark? Yes, he has, and he taps the barrier for good measure.
Yep, I thought that was going to be the case. So, unfortunately here for him there, that's going to be, well, not ideal. I think that's the best way to say to that. Will he be able to get, you know, get set back onto his pace? I'm sure he can. He's just got to be a little bit aware of that braking down towards turn number 7. I should apologise. That's been catching a lot of drivers out recently. Let's not actually not count the equipment failure for Leon Mishka, but see Davide Vittoriti now battling with Dennis Weinman. Weinman in the BMW, being caught there by the Renova competition. Porsche Davide Vittoriti. This brings him up now to 7th in the amateurs.
Yeah, we've seen better from Vittoriti, but it's good to see he seems to be back in the flow of things here at Belle. As this is how that all came about through the exit of turn number 2. That just looks to be Dennis Weinman is just extremely slow on the exit. Going to be nice and easy for Vittoriti into turn 3. I'll say that side by side, but inside line, and yeah, a bit later on the brakes. Well done.
Yeah, Vittoriti has had a strong season so far. The top 10 in his class. And of course had a P12 best result at Portimao. The second race, in fact, at Portimao, to make it more specific. We look to David Kinskas here. He's defended from 2 pros here in Gabriele Rito, the pole sitter from last time out in Suzuka, and Hayden Miller, who is in the Aston Martin. We've had a bit of he's had a decent amount at Suzuka, but he hasn't had a podium since Brands hatched, and he would dearly love to get a good result. He's been P5, P5, P5 in both Brands Hatch and Road Atlanta. Oh, that's car up, and it's Marcus Fox for Core Sim Racing 1. That's massive for the title contention.
Well, that is absolutely huge there. As we're being told in our ear, this is because of a lap traffic issue. Alicio Tuosto there in the Mercedes. That's a big knock from him. Comes across the track and there's just nowhere for that Porsche to go. Marcus Fox just collateral damage almost at that point. It really wasn't his fault. That's not Tuosto's fault either. That's just the nature of having an accident at that corner. The barrier is not going to buckle. It's massively thick concrete. It just knocks you back onto the circuit, and yeah, the Marcus Fox ever the bystander in that one. What a shame, and a big hit to the Core Racing 1 team.
Head in hands in the Core Sim Racing 1 camp. Remy Crozat continues to push on. I'm sure everyone at Core Sim Racing esports team will be willing on Alex Rogers to just help them out in the title contention as Aiden Young continues to push away here. I'd love to see what Rogers could do against the kind of newcomer Alex Young. Aiden Young, my apologies. He's still just got to try and get past Remy Crow. That flashed away. He's blinking in terms of connection for Alex Rogers. That will not be ideal whatsoever for the Pro-Am.
Certainly won't, but I mean he's still very much in the mix, in the hunt here, isn't he? He's only 6/10 off of Crozat, just over a couple of seconds off of Aiden Young, and they've got a huge gap. I say huge, they've got 9 seconds over David Kinskus, but in racing like this, 9 seconds is a real big margin. It's lovely to have that, knowing you have that. As a driver, you do tend to relax a little bit more, and that normally helps you as well with the reduced pressure from behind. You can sort of really look at attacking in front, and I would imagine over the next lap or two that's maybe what Rogers will try and do, because we will have pit stops starting fairly shortly, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we should. So probably within the next 15 minutes we'll have a lot of drivers come into pit. Again, do you want to be out there with about, do you want to be coming in now, around about the halfway mark, or do you want to just be leaving it to the last couple of moments? A Porsche moving to the right-hand side, that's being Marcus Fox. So Marcus managing to get repairs underway and done, but he's out there now, just right at the back of the grid, and with not much to fight for. He's still going to try and gather the points though for Core Sim Racing 1. But Fabian Thalman continues to put under pressure Simone Silvestri.
Yeah, it's a real shame. I mean, even if he's running down there in 30th position, that is still going to be huge there for Marcus Fox, in a sense of the gap between the two teams is about, I think, 44 points. I can double check that for you as well. In 30th position there, he will still pick up 42 points for his team. So if you think about it in that sense, that eliminates that gap between the ERE Race Esport team and the Core Sim 1 Racing. That eliminates that points gap, and therefore it's a battle there between Crozat and the two remaining drivers.
Indeed it is. So it is a lot of calculations that are going on in our comms box here, which is having to write down this number here, that number there. So it is very much one of those that is going to be a real deciding factor. What does Alex Rogers decide to do? Because he is just holding on there to the rear of Remy Crozat. Crozat's cutting, but I think it's just a fear thing. He doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be overtaken too aggressively. He doesn't want to be taking himself out of contention, because let's say he does have an incident. He does, get a tangle with Crozat, takes himself out of the race. Crozat's able to continue. That might mean he loses the overall standings, and that would be absolutely devastating. I think he wouldn't be able to forgive himself. if he did that. So it's just trying to overtake in a safe manner. But do you go maybe for an undercut here, or do you go for that overcut? It's a big question. I'm sure it's going to be running on the mind of Alex Rogers.
It's a big question. I mean, if it was me in that position, I'd go for the overcut, only on the basis of I would want all the drivers behind me to pit first, and I would want to be going as long as possible, so there is zero chance of me getting hung up battling somebody else that goes a bit longer than myself. So if I was Rogers, that is what would be going through my mind. But what do I know? I am not as skilled as these guys out there. They are way more better equipped at dealing with these situations than I would ever be. But I feel like that's a pretty safe bet.
It definitely is. It is one of those that is, a really, really good thing to have. Again, we're just having a look now. Back with Fabian Feldman. And here he comes, looking up the inside, trying to scare off Simone Silvestri. The Dark Horse Motorsport car is still just stuck there behind the Pro-Am. So Daniel Gruber also loses position there to Mateusz Gorecki. So this is big positives here for Pedro Botello Moniz, who might be on for his second podium in a row this season. Again, Simone Silvestri getting a little bit of tail happy, having to go defensive, and runs back to the racing line. Feldman's getting a little bit frustrated again. Is it time now to apply that strategy at some point? And can't make your way into the pits and just get that pit stop done and over with. Find yourself some clear air. But then again, you kind of have to do it at a point where you know you're going to come out with some clear air. Otherwise, you are just going to get stuck. And that will not help you. Dominic Engel into the lane.
Yeah, I think this could be the domino effect we see with Engel coming in. As I'm imagining, or I would predict that is his actual pit stop. Now we are 36 minutes into the hour. As this is going to be a move. This is going to be that move we saw when Gorecki managed to get past Daniel Gruber then a bit earlier on. That was through 5 and now into 6. Does Gruber go deep? Yes, he does. Manages to stop the car in time before he clatters the wall. But that was enough of an invite for Gorecki to say thank you very much, and through he went.
Pretty good stuff there. It was a smart overtake. We'll just have to see if anything can come out of this. Remy Crozat into pit lane. Crozat makes the call to put himself into the lane. And that could be the difference between coming out in second or maybe even third. His pace just hasn't quite been matching Aiden Young here. It's also going to be important. And Gabriele Rizzo, the pole sister from Japan, he's going to be coming in as well. So pit stops really now starting to come into effect. If you're Alex Rogers, do you now go for the pit lane, or do you go and try and spread your wings here? Because I think you've now got to spread your wings for a lap or two. Don't hold back. You know you've got the pace. You've been stuck for so long. See what your actual pace can do.
I'll tell you what, I'm just looking at the timing tower where Crozat's come out. He's found a nice little pocket of air here. He's got 5 seconds to Schmidt, the next car. So that's going to give him plenty of room and movement to breathe and just start putting those laps in. Really nail this out lap as try and get the advantage over your two rivals here. Aiden Young and Alex Rogers in picture as they are making their way through the turns of 12 and 13. Are we going to see them now coming into pit lane, or are they going to go round for another flyer? Aiden Young is staying out, so is Rogers. So the fuel load on this Corvette and the Ferrari, either they've been doing some monumental saving or it's a little bit nicer on the fuel.
Fuel is going to be a big question here because, of course, as I said, there's so many places where you can, lift off, save fuel, be gentle with your throttle. So it will be one of those that you've really just got to keep an eye out for. Your fuel gauge will be really important because, it is the thing that, can give you time, can, add time, take away time. It is a really, really big difference in this case. It is probably the biggest difference in sim racing is your fuel. So that is going to be something that, all these drivers are going to have to keep an eye out for here. Gorecki now is going to just head into the pit lane. So Botello Moniz is also in. Looks like Young and Rogers are still out there. Is Rogers matching the pace of Aiden Young? Timing screen are going to be saying to us that yes, he's beating him by a good half a second last time around.
Yeah, nice stuff there. You mentioned the fuel being the biggest thing in sim racing. I am still waiting for them to bring the limits for tyres in, because that is what I want to see, is people actually having to look after them, do the double stops, particularly in the endurance events. But that is enough about my wishes for what iRacing bring in. Aiden Young and Alex Rogers both entering pit lane. I'm sure we're going to see David Kinskus also find his way down there as well. Hayden Miller right behind him. He still hasn't pitted, and he's still going round as well. The Ferrari of Hayden Miller is still out there on the circuit, yet to make a pit stop. Longest of anybody.
Yep, that's going to be a big interest to me, I think, because he's only got a fuel for a further 20 minutes. A lot of these drivers having to go that little bit longer. So I think if Hayden Miller does feel that he has the pace underneath him, he could gain maybe a position or two. I'm not saying it's going to be an extraordinary amount, but there he is. Remy Crozat is behind the Ferrari. And this is going to be massive in terms of the championship, in terms of Alex Rogers' overall standings, and the live standings in the team championship. From before all the pit stop, Course Sim Racing 1 were leading the championship, and by a decent margin as well. By 42 points, they have completely 180'd that before the pit stops, and I think that's also just because of Fabio Nogueira not being able to participate in the last two races, which I know sounds horrible in that case, but it is true. Having a teammate is so helpful, but now Alex Rogers putting himself into a net second is going to be a little bit worrying on the shoulders of Remy Crozat.
I think it's fair to say that is the downfall of the team there for Crozat, the ERE. If you're running one car, you're already at a massive disadvantage. So, real shame that Nogueira couldn't make it the last few rounds, but that has been what has costed them that there, I fear. But never say never until we see that checkered flag. As Miller into the pits, Young is going to venture around, so is Rogers and Crozat. They have switched under the pits, and Crozat went for the undercut. It's not paid off for him here. Even with that little pocket of air that he managed to find, he still hasn't had the pace that Rogers has had.
I think that's, it's interesting you say that. Because of course, we know how Alex Rogers has been. Remy Crozat was an absolute monster at the start of the season. I don't think we could say anything more or less about that one. He was absolutely dominating it. He took 3 P1s at the start of the season. He then had his drop score in Hockenheim. He then took another P1 in the Nürburgring. And at this point we thought, surely he's wrapped up the title. Surely he's wrapped up the title. By that point, Alex Rogers has taken 2 overall podiums. We never expected him to go on this run. He has, only once been outside, twice been outside the top 5. And that was 6th in Nürburgring and 9th in Laguna Seca Race 2, where you can barely overtake. So these are some massive moments. And you've seen there, Hayden Miller, that opportunity to go along has put himself in a really good place now. 4th place for the Ferrari, man. What can he do with it? Is he going to stick and forth, or David Kinsk is going to find a way through?
It was that they were neck and neck as Hayden Miller returned onto the circuit after his pit stop. So they were really going at it down into turn number 3. Hayden Miller was able to just about get ahead in the braking zone, and so now Kinskus in his BMW is either got to try and find a little bit of something extra to see if he can get that move back, but this looks like he's got a decent exit out of 2 here. Is Miller going to have to go defensive? Looks like it, but switches back to the racing line. Is there enough alongside? No, not at all, and Miller still hanging on to 4th, but this could be a race and a battle here. This could go all the way to the checker flag, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. I have no doubt this is going to be a battle that will go to the checker flag. Speaking of this one, look at this. This is Fabian Feldman chasing down Tom Kunath and Patrick Schmidt. Patrick Schmidt currently sitting second in the Pro-Am stand in the Pro-Ams in terms of this race. So he'll grab a second place trophy. Tom Kunath is third place in... No, sorry, he's second in the pro standings. Denis Badak-Tadovic, I haven't seen, so he will wrap up second if things stay like this. And then of course we will have Fabian Feldman, who for the Dark Horse Motorsport team has just been stuck behind Mercedes, it seems like, and he's got another one to deal with.
Yep, they did all manage to get past Silvestri as well in that pit stop phase, so he's the one that's lost out the most there in it. And of course has dropped a little bit further back. But I mean, he was doing a stellar defensive drive for the majority of that race. But yeah, four Mercs in a row, and Kunath now having to go defensive here because Feldman is very much on the charge. Round 14 over the start finish and into turn 1 and 2. Can Feldman get a decent exit out of 2 here to make a look and maybe a lunge down into turn number 3?
Down in towards turn number 3 we go, and I want to apologise to Denis Badak-Tadovic briefly. He's down there in P14, but now we see Fabian Feldman going around the outside. Is he going to be able to hold it on that outside line? No, he doesn't. Tom Kunath slips himself back in front, so that is going to be a bit of a difficult one there. Again, Feldman is getting very, very frustrated behind the steering wheel. Of the Mercedes. Kunath is really holding his own very, very well.
Something has happened here to Francesco Celentano, the North Sim Racing Green Mercedes. This is down at turn number 3 as well. Has he missed another braking zone? He has. Luckily doesn't... Oh, I say that. He's tapped the barrier there that time. Reverse. And away you go again. But that's twice now, though, from Celentano. Simple mistakes, you would argue, and they have cost him dearly.
That's a real shame there for Francesco Celentano. Runs down in P29 now, so that's going to be a in that case. So this is now going to be what seems to be Martino Pogoli we're looking at. You'll see him right in the middle of all of this, making a move on one of our green amateurs, having a bit of a moment, and then, that was a big defensive chop over to the right-hand side of the other Renova competition, and then, that was one of our Porsches almost getting forced into the concrete barrier on the left-hand side.
Yeah, that's Daniel Gruber losing out there on that occasion. And that's the cut round. Jason Hodgson, the amateur driver, down in 30th position. That is not a nice place to be, facing the wrong direction. By the looks of it, that is the exit of 6. It is very much a blind apex coming round. Get out of the way! Oh, what has happened here? There's Celentano. I think that's Hodgson in front. Turn number 6, it definitely is. Just a little bit of a love tap, and round he went.
That's a tag from Francesco Celentano. I think he knows what he's done by... There is Jason Hodgson in the pit lane. That's a difficult moment there for the Phoenix Racing driver. He will be, unfortunately, back in the pit lane, being towed back. But for Aiden Young, it is still some really strong driving here. Well, he hasn't got the fastest lap. He's still staying consistent. It's 0.3 of a second faster than Alex Rogers last time around. So that gap staying around about 2.5 seconds. Remy Krota drops back to another 2.2 behind Alex Rogers. Miller still leading David Kinskis as well. Rizzo from Schmidt, from Kunath, from Feldman, from Silvestri rounds out your top 10.
Yes, and the nice thing is it's still super competitive. The gaps between all these drivers are not that large, so you know, positions are still to be chopped and changed, I would imagine, in these final 10 minutes. And not only the 10 minutes of this race, the final 10 minutes of season 12 coming up. And I think we can pretty much already see the writing on the wall of the way things are going. But again, you still got to see that checker flag first and foremost.
You do. You still got to survive on this racetrack, and you know how tough have things been for these drivers. They've been ultimately maybe one of the hardest circuits we've had on the calendar, maybe apart from the Nürburgring. But you know, a track that is your normal tracks, you know, your Silverstons, your Monzas, your etc. You know, they're so much different to a circuit that has been dumped in the middle of a park or a downtown area in America. Brush on the wall for Alex Rogers. That could have been all sorts of Larry of him. He's still trying to push here to grab the lead of this one, but with 10.5 minutes to go, I think just get it to the end, son.
Yeah, absolutely. Knaf, Schmidt fighting down to turn 3. Schmidt with the inside line shows Knaf where the grass is. Fellman having a little look, trying to swing it back and forth to find the space. And the two Dark Horse Motorsport cars, I believe, are helping one another here. And Knaf is just stuck in the middle of the sandwich. Still no change though. Schmidt 7th, Knaf 8th, Fellman 9th. But I think Fellman might have a little look down at the next corner.
No. Sorry, that's Pedro Moniz. And he's lost 3rd place in the amateurs. What has happened to the Portuguese driver? Down in towards turn number 12, in towards 13. Oh, he's had a rear go. The rear's gone on the Ferrari. Oh, heartbreak for Pedro Botello Moniz. And the Portuguese driver is going to be absolutely heartbroken.
Yeah. That's going to be a tough one to take as well, because he was doing incredibly well. I think he was even closing in on Karsten Havdal for 2nd place in his class. So really was looking well for Botello Moniz, but yeah, not meant to be. And we said it's important to get to the end. These 10 minutes are going to be incredibly nerve-wracking for a lot of these guys. They've done majority of the hard work. Now you just pretty much got to bring it home. Fellman having a little look and a little weave behind Tom Knaf in his Mercedes, but no move come of it, as these guys still unchanged.
Indeed. Still a lot to be decided. Of course, it does look like championships will be wrapped up, but they will be announced over the line before we, well, as they go over the line to complete the checkered flag here. Let's have a look back here with Mateusz Gorecki. He's up against Howard Sequeira. Sequeira on that inside line. The BCM of Gorecki still playing in an attacking role in this one, but looks like the Ford Mustang is going to drop behind that Porsche in this time around. Engel from Sequeira from Gorecki. That's going to be 4th, 5th, and 6th in the Pro-Ams. From 17th to 19th overall. This is Gorecki then. So I think a bit of a rub there off Helder Sequeira. Sequeira did not get a good run. Gorecki tried that outside line. Oh yes, it was a little bit of a door bang. I got to mention that in my ear. So definitely correcting on that one. And tried to go around the outside and just couldn't quite make it.
That's interesting there for Gorecki. I mean, maybe this is me being aggressive in this as he goes round. He spins it. Gorecki was round to battle over there. He's now in a real awkward spot here. This is the exit of 11. Can he spin it round without getting in the way of anyone? The leaders are coming up as well. He really does need to be careful. You can just see Rogers and Crozat going round turn number 7 in the background. There is your leader, Aidan Young. And thankfully, Gorecki keeping it well out of the way.
It's a big disappointment there for Mateusz Gorecki. The Polish driver was on for a decent result here, but too much pushing, wanting to end the season out on a high. Gets on the curb, spins it up. He's probably not the first driver to do that. We had a 1 hour 40-minute session earlier on today, just before we hopped into the live broadcast, and trust me, there must have been so many incidents during that session. We definitely had to use a chalkboard to count on something along those lines. Patrick Schmidt there in P7, just ahead of Kunat, just ahead of Feldman. So he's holding up 2 pros here. So good effort from Patrick Schmidt, who will should come away with a P2 in his Pro-Am class.
Certainly hoping to do just that. I think that has also been a very good point of this season, that the classes, they obviously matter a little bit, but it really doesn't highlight what each driver can do individually. Just because they've been given this title doesn't mean to say they can't stick it to the higher classes, if you want to look at it that way. I think that's been very much proven this season from a lot of the drivers out there. Rogers, Kinskus, and now we're seeing Schmidt do it as well. Silvestri I'll even put into that mix, as well as Pugnoli, not having his best today, but we've seen him also rising to the higher ranks and in that top 10, even the top 5, I feel like, on a race or two.
Marcus Blum having a bit of an incident. He came back out onto the circuit in his Corvette, but what's happened to the German driver? Just lose it on the curb. It feels like one of those really lazy spins, but I mean, he's giving a bit of respect there to Carl Busch. Well, until the wing falls off. He tried to rowdy it backwards. Unfortunately, the wing decided to go bye-bye in that case.
Oh, if you want to know what comedic timing was, it was that. Absolutely perfect timing when you said it. But no, what a shame there. And of course, we don't want to see any drivers losing their evening like that. But yeah, respect to getting the car off the racing line. Kudos. And yeah, such a shame the wing fell off in the process, though.
Well, at least he's still driving. That's the fun bit of this. I'm pretty sure. Decided to make it a little bit extra fun by going the wrong way. Not in the let's disqualify this man way, but you know, just keeping the car rolling backwards way. So still with 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go, so we should be getting. Oh, this is a bit of a tough one, but yeah, should be getting about 3 laps under our belt. So 3 laps to finalize your position. I'll be really interested to see how everybody wants to go on this one. Do they decide to sit there, you know, claim the points, claim the position, or do they want to go out in a blaze of glory? You know, last lap overtakes, left, right, and centre. Throw up the inside here, go up the inside. I'd love to know. Keep bringing your support for our drivers. Hit the like button, subscribe to Apex Racing TV, where you can see all of our broadcasts for more racing action like this.
Absolutely. Vonta Belle here in the Mercedes, the Dark Horse Motorsport team, again having some action. He's racing Daniel Gruber there, right in front of him in his green Porsche. This is for 3rd position in class, so this is a pretty decent battle to be had here in the closing moments of the race of the season. Can Vonta Belle pick up, I want to say, his maiden podium here, Adam, but maybe you can correct me on that one.
Andreas Vonta Belle, he has had a podium before in his class. P20, his best ever result. So he's 2 places away from that, but I don't expect Gruber and Grossman to be moving aside. That's easy. So we now move on to 2.5 minutes remaining of this race. What a season we've had here in season 12. Vonta Belle now goes up the inside there. Daniel Gruber. Oh, Gruber still side by side. They head their way in towards 4. Looks like the Porsche is going to keep ahead of the Mercedes.
Yeah, this is now allowed Vitoriti into the fray as the Porsche closes right up to the back of Vonta Belle. So he's going to really need to be looking to nail these exits so that he can stay ahead, because again, this is also a battle for position. So Vitoriti may be trying to cause an upset here in the closing moments. No chance there into turn number 7 as Vonta Belle keeps it neat and tidy. Probably got how many laps left? 2 laps left now, Adam. Not long to go.
No, not at all. Still a lot. Look at all this traffic. Multiple Mercs involved in this one. one of the core sim racing Mercedes going up the inside. I think one of the lap cars is now. We see Davide Vittoriti looking up the inside of Andreas Belle. Belle didn't want to move in that one. Vittoriti just had to sit in behind. There's no major positions up for grabs in this one, but that is going to be a really, really tough battle. That was what we love seeing in these latter stages.
Yeah, you're going to see some. You're going to see some moves being sent here, I would imagine, in this closing lap. As this is Fellman still behind Patrick Schmidt, and Schmidt really has done a stellar job of defending so far. And I think looking at it now, yeah, Fellman has passed Tom Kunath. So he has gained 8th position there. He's going to try and gain one more, of course. This is how, I'm assuming, it all unfolded through the very fast chicane of turn 1 and 2. Traffic, it's traffic that has caused this, Adam. So that has given Fellman the chance to have the overspeed on Tom Kunath. That's probably why we saw the flash of lights and all of this chaos a little bit earlier.
No, Kunath not going to be happy about that one. It won't be massively affecting in terms of his final championship placement. He's headed ahead of Tadovich. In front of him in terms of the pro category, but overall it is not one that you really want to be faced with as well. It's been a real tough one here, and we now look back here to Aiden Young, the season 10 returnee. Is going to come back with a bang here, because Aiden Young has been an absolute fire this race. He's got one more corner to go before we round this off. Season 12 of the ARL GT3 Championship is won by Aiden Young in the final race of Belle Isle, but Alex Rogers takes the overall championship. The Briton takes the crown overall. Remy Krozak will win in P3. He takes the Pro Championship from Hayden Miller and David Kinskus, who will win in the in the amateur class. This is Fabian Fellman, managed to just get past Patrick Schmidt. So Fellman managed to get a couple more extra points, for the Dark Horse Motorsport team, and the Swiss driver will point for the championship. It's Rizzo from Fellman, from Schmidt, from Kunath, from Silvestri, rounds out your top 10, but there is your Season 12 ARL GT3 Championship overall champion.
I mean, nothing short of spectacular. He no doubt came into. I think we've spoken, of course, to Rogers many times at this point. I'm surprised he's finding a place to do donuts and burnouts around this circuit. But we spoke to him many times earlier on. I asked him the question, did he think the overall championship was on? And of course, he gave the sensible answer that he just wanted to focus on his class. But I mean, who would have predicted at the beginning of this season a Pro-Am driver would take the overall top honours? Because I certainly didn't have that on my bingo card.
Did anybody? It's like, it feels like Sunderland finishing in the Europa League. I'm not gonna lie. It gives that feel of how on earth did that happen? Who would have predicted that at the start of the season? If you said that at the start of the season, you would have been an absolute madman. But yeah, unbelievable. And then you just have to look at the form chart. That's all you have to do, and then you see. My goodness me, the consistency on this driver has just been second to none. He's only given up 2 wins in his class this entire season, and even then it was, you have Nürburgring, which is, literally the most difficult circuit. So, of course, he handed that over to a German as well, and then you got the Laguna Seca race, which is so difficult to overtake. But here, your final results. Aiden Young is your winner for the WSR Esports team, with Alex Rogers your overall and a Pro-Am champion. Remy Krozak wins the Pro Championship ahead of Hayden Miller, with David Kinskus being crowned the amateur champion. Gabriele Rizzo will end out on a high for the North Sim Racing team. He'll be just in front of the 2 Dark Horse Motorsport drivers of Fabian Feldman and Patrick Schmidt. Tom Kunath will be in P9, a difficult season, a difficult end to the season, I should say, for Tom Kuna. He did grab that class win in Suzuka, but this is didn't quite want to be the way he would want to win the season. Simone Silvestri takes third in the Pro-Am Championship. Derek Heiberger from Carl Winkler, from Gabriel Schmidt and Denis Balak-Tadovich, our row of pros had a little bit of a difficult up and down end to the season with Axel Filoy and Karnstein Havdal. Then we find in P17 Dominic Engel, followed by Helder Sequeira. Of course, Havdal being our being second in the amateurs. Then we find Helder Sequeira, followed by Dominic Engel, Helder Sequeira, Martino Pugnoli, Ronald Grossman in the Acura running out the top 12. Daniel Gruber, Andreas von Belle. What could he have done? Dark Horse Motorsport driver, really pushing the limits, but unfortunately, I'm not sure how happy we'll be with that result. But he'll digress and hopefully move on to season 13. Davide Vitoriti, followed by Dennis Weimann. I'm sure the Gasser Motorsport Dutch driver will be wanting to be back here for season 13, so hopefully we'll see that name back in the mix. Pedro Botello Melnese was on for a third place in the amateurs, but unfortunately a spin in the latter stage of the race put him down to P6 in the amateurs by the end. Marcus Fox, difficult end to the season for the course in Racing 1 driver, down 18. He had of course an error early on in the race, only can muster up P26. Matis Scott 7, P28 with Verano Esports driver Ross Fowler in his Nathan Hodgson and Marcus Blum with Camden Craft, Alessio Tuoso, Pierre Vernon, Leon Mishka and Nino Angel never making it to the start of the race. Well, that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. We've had all of the racing action, but don't go away too soon. We do have interviews for you to do. Welcome in Aidan Young. Well, this has been a lovely return for you. Pole position and a win. Too bad, eh?
Oh, not too bad, not too shabby. Detroit's one of my favorite tracks, so happy to get it done here. And I saw there was an entry still left for the race, and I thought yesterday around midday, I was like, you know what, let me just pay the $8, give it a go, and see what happens. Have a little fun in the meantime. And luckily, it just ran this track last week in the World GT Championship, so I had a little bit of inkling as to what I needed to do, like strategy-wise, and I tried to put it in this one, but the track was a little hotter than what I made my setup for, so I had to kind of refine it a little bit in the practice and made some tweaks that seemed to have worked. But yeah, about halfway through that race, I started thinking, man, my front tires are dying, and sure enough, I get out the car and I have 60%, 50% on my front tire.
Yeah, that must have been, a massive surprise for you. Kind of take us through kind of the starting stint, because of course you had a really, really good start off the line. You had the likes of Alex and Remy right behind you. I think, is this circuit about experience? Because, we've spoken on the broadcast about, I'm sure a lot of these drivers have done over 100 laps on this, whilst, others may have done, a maximum of 10. Do you need that experience around the circuit, especially with the knowledge that it is still a new circuit of iRacing?
Yeah, I think the experience definitely helps a little bit, especially with the confidence side of things, because Detroit, if you're afraid of the walls, you're never really going to be that fast, so you kind of just have to, if you're afraid of walls and you're afraid of street circuits, you kind of just have to suck it up, get it out of your head, and just go out there and just not really pay attention to it. Just think of it like any other track. And I always like to, if I go to a new circuit that's got walls very close and it's a street circuit that I don't know, I like to kind of just use the walls as a learning experience, and I'll kind of get close to them, graze them. That way I get comfortable with that, because there's a few times in the race where you're going to push a corner a little bit hard and you're going to get into the wall a little bit, but you need to know how to control the car once you get into the wall. And yeah, the biggest thing is if you're afraid of the walls, the pace isn't that great, so you kind of just tell yourself there's nothing to worry about, and just, you focus from corner to corner. And if you're not looking at the walls, then you won't go to the wall. If you look at the wall, you're gonna end up in the wall.
Yeah, indeed, it's one of those really, really tricky circuits. And of course, taking the win, that must have felt really, really good. Despite having that, prior knowledge.
I think I lost you.
I think I'm having a couple of technical issues on my side, but yeah, as I said, finishing that race must have felt so great. Despite having that prior knowledge, but how did it feel?
Yeah, I missed probably about 3 to 5 things that you just said there. Your mic's kind of cutting out pretty good there.
Pass over to Ashley.
I was going to say, I'll tell you what, I'll ask you a question. Of course, you've just done the final race here for season 12. Is season 13 potentially on the cards for you when it comes around?
It depends on when it starts. I mean, I was thinking about it for this season, but never did really get around to registering until this final race. And I was kind of busy with some other things, real life racing and school, and I was doing the Porsche esports North America Championship, so had a very busy schedule. Couldn't really get around to registering, but yeah, it depends on what my schedule allows. I would hope to be able to do it. It's a great series. There's some fast guys in here too, and it's always good fun to do an ARL league race.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, it seems like you are a very busy person, which is very impressive as well, I might add. But if you're here for the next season, you're a fantastic asset, I'm sure, challenging those fast guys at the front like you do. So. Well done. Congratulations, Aidan, on tonight's win. Is there anyone you'd love to give a quick shout out to before we let you run away?
I'd like to give a thanks to the boys back at WSR Esports for developing me into the driver that I am today. Wouldn't be where I am without them. So props to them for all the pointers and stuff they've given me, all the tips on how to make a car setup work for my driving style, and the coaching they've given me, the sponsors, Bruzy, Next Level Racing, Adidas Racing, MB Synthography, and even my new friends from the guys at Rennsport Esports. Been chatting with them and having a bit of fun with a few of my buddies that drive for them. So big thanks to them for giving me the push to jump into the race today and do it.
Lovely. Well, thanks for joining us here, Aidan, and have a lovely evening or morning potentially.
It's almost about 5 o'clock in the evening.
Okay,
so
never mind.
About to go off and have dinner.
Yeah, enjoy.
I will. You guys have a
Lovely.
good one.
Thank you. Lovely. Well, Aidan Young there, everybody, tonight's winner. And next into the commentary booth, we're going to take, look who it is, none other than our overall champion, Pro-Am champion, and of course finished on the podium in second place tonight as well, Alex Rogers. Welcome into the commentary booth.
Good evening.
That's got to be nice to have those accolades now to your name.
It's I don't really know what to say. I've got to be honest. I've come into the interview waiting area with absolutely nothing to say. So this could be your worst interview ever. But yes, just a bit of a crazy race actually as well. It was kind of a little bit of good fortune. Super intense because it's a street track. So your senses are on 200% constantly. So I was just speaking with Hayden, and he was like, "Dude, I was sweating so much." I was like, "I know, same." So been a really, really fun season, and this last race was amazing too.
I'll tell you what, start us at the beginning then, Alex. Qualifying, I saw in the chat you said you kind of botched the lap a little bit. What went wrong there for you?
I think that could be understatement of the year as well. I mean, I think there was probably 2.5 tenths, maybe 3 tenths on the table. I just couldn't get the car working as I had it working in practice. Whether I was too hard on the tyres at the start of the run or what, I don't know. But short story is my quali didn't come together, which again, I thought I've been pretty good on quali all season. You're bound to have some bad rounds. I chose the worst possible round to have a bad quali round. So yeah, it was a bit head in hands, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, you certainly made it work for you, and of course coming home in second. Hit stop strategy, was that always the plan to go a touch longer, or were you sort of reacting and maybe going opposite of what Crozat potentially did?
No, you're 100% right. So the strategy was always try and make places via pit stop, whatever that looks like. So in this instance, I was fortunate. David, shout out David Kincius, by the way, because he did let me through. I think probably for the better of both of us, but he's obviously a smart guy. And he's had a mega result here again. So firstly, shout out to David. But yeah, I knew I was able to catch Remy, and we were both catching Aiden because I knew he was fuel saving. Once I got to the back of Remy, I thought I'm in the driving seat here because I can just fuel save behind him, go a little longer, do a bit of a shorter stop. And that was kind of it. I overfueled the car by a lap as well, just to give myself enough to at least try and catch Aiden, who was an absolute missile today. So yeah, that was always the plan.
Yeah, lovely. Well, it worked out for you. I mean, of course, you didn't even need to get Crozat to be crowned champion, but you did it nonetheless. Do you feel like if qualifying maybe went your way, you had a chance of taking the win?
It's all ifs, ands and buts, isn't it? I don't really know. Aiden's such a fast guy, so I don't know. It would have been close. I think Aiden would tell you that too. But I honestly don't know. He's pretty strong here, so we'd have had to have tried our best and see what happened. But yeah, maybe, why not?
Certainly. So I'll tell you what, Alex, I won't keep you forever. What is the future looking like for you? What's your next series you're potentially going to jump into?
It'll be with you guys again, actually. So Porsche Cup. So when that starts, I'll be doing that. But honestly, don't expect too much in that because I just pogo my way around in that car and I'm not great in it. But it should be good fun. So Porsche Cup, and then there's a 24-hour this weekend as well. But I'll definitely be back in the GT3s because it's been really enjoyable. So definitely be back.
Quickly ask, what 24-hour is that?
Am I allowed to say? Isn't it? There's no like.
I feel like you're okay to say, yeah, no.
Yeah. Yes, it's majors, so the majors 24 this weekend. So yeah, that's what's next. And pre-qualifying is super stressful, as anybody will tell you. So that's what we're battling at the minute. But yeah, we'll do our best.
Understandable. Well, good luck with future endeavours, Alex. We'll of course see you for the Porsche Cups, hopefully, and maybe even the next series here for the GT3s. Anyone you'd love to give a quick special thanks to before we let you go?
As always, my dad, partner Rose, and my team, Maradna squad. They've been great. Well, everyone at Maradna has been great. So yeah, long may it continue. So those are the three people.
Lovely.
Oh, well, sorry, one more. James Boumet, who coached me and managed to get me out of the gutter. So him as well.
Were you ever in the gutter?
Yeah, I was before we started. Believe me. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Thanks, gents.
Alex, congratulations once again. Fantastic series, and of course, you come home with top honours. So big, well done, round of applause, and yeah, good luck with the future.
Thank you, gentlemen. See you soon.
Lovely there, Alex Rogers, and I think Adam, we might have be able to squeeze in just one more driver here. Certainly can do.
Yeah, I'll see if I can take over this one. Hayden Miller, welcome into the comms box. The season you've had, it's been full of ups and downs, but let's reflect first on the race. A tricky one, would you say?
Yeah, very, very tricky. Considering I only bought the track 2 days ago, I wasn't expecting to be this far up, especially with my qualifying position. I think it was P10. But yeah, I knew it was going to be difficult, especially the strength of the field in front of me. I seen there was multiple 8Ks, and Alex has been on fire the entire season, so I knew it was going to be difficult. But yeah, just decided to keep my head down, fuel saving like nobody's business. I believe I was the only one that went an entire lap longer than the entire grid, so that's always a plus. And with that, I managed to pass 2 in the pit lane alone. So yeah, it was just about keeping my tyres under a certain limit, just to keep them alive, which worked after the pits. But yeah, it was quite a tough race with the heat now in the UK. But yeah, really tough race.
Of course, you changed from the Aston Martin into the Ferrari. How much did that benefit you, would you say?
Quite a lot. Obviously, mid-season, a BOP, an unannounced BOP came out for the entire GT3 field. So after testing, I felt the Aston wasn't what it was like before. I think it's changed now. I think people have found out how to make setups for it, so I think it's still on pace. But at the time, the Fez felt like the right call, so went with that, made the jump, and yeah, it's paid off. I think I've done quite well, considering it's my first season. So yeah, I think it was a correct choice.
Yeah, and definitely kind of let's reflect on the season as well, because you had a really strong start to the season, but then it kind of maybe tailed off a little bit in the mid part. What would you say you needed to get to that extra level? Because it looks like you did finish third in the championship this season. Is there also a drive to come back for season 13?
I think there's a possibility of coming back. But mid-season, you're right. I had a strong start to the season. Mid-season, just in terms of driving, sim racing itself, I had this complete lack of motivation, almost like a complete burnout. I just couldn't find any enjoyment, any want to drive. So I turn up, not confident, not done testing, rocked up, put a setup on and see where I could go. But yeah, after I've gained a lot of motivation back, but I think I still need to. I think there's a break that needs to happen in iRacing, but there's a few other leagues I'm eyeing up. But yeah, Apex is definitely in the top 2 or 3 of coming back. I've had a really nice time here.
And is there anyone you'd like to shout out before we head off?
Hey, just a big shout out to Marley over at SimCoach. Like I said, I bought the track 2 days ago, so if it wasn't for him, I would have been very off the pace, literally not knowing where to go around the track. So yeah, just a really, really big shout out to him for finding me this pacing consistency.
And very quickly, Ashley, is there anything you would like to ask?
No, I think you've pretty much covered it, Adam. So I mean, yeah, congratulations on tonight's race, Hayden, and as well as I've said to the others, good luck with your future endeavours as well.
Thank you very much. See you.
And there goes Hayden Miller. He has left us to go into the waiting room with Alex Rogers and Aidan Young. Well, that is going to be it here for the ARL GT3 Championship. We've had an absolute stellar season. Of course, Ashley, this has been your first season. What have you made of the championship?
I don't think it is my first, but I've definitely done a few. I know that. I can't think if I've done the full series or not, but either less, I've done a few of these events. But nonetheless, definitely the full one this time. I haven't missed a single there, and it's been nothing short of phenomenal. Brilliant racing up and down the grid. I mentioned it earlier in the race. It's really nice to see the different classes really mixing it and showing off their skills to the guys effectively what you would say are above them. And it's been, yeah, nothing short of brilliant. I mean, couldn't ask for more. And what a finale as well. Fantastic circuit, Belle Isle. It's my first time coming here, that's for certain, and it really did perform.
It most definitely did, and you can have a watch of all the races on Apex Racing TV. If there was a certain race you found was outstanding, you can go back and watch that race, or maybe even this race. But from myself, from Ashley Denman, and everyone, it's going to be Aiden Howard in production. We'll see you for the next edition of the ARL GT3 Championship when Season 13 rolls along. Take care. Good night.